Welcome to Land Academy. I'm Jack Butala.
I'm Jill DeWit.
We show you how to buy real estate for half of what it's worth.
And sell it on the internet really fast.
We are Jack and Jill,
and this is the Jack and Jill Show too.
With over 15,000 completed transactions, we're the experts at acquiring property.
Of all kinds, not just land.
For half price and flipping them for way more.
All right, let's get this show started.
Jack Butala with Jill DeWit.
Hello there.
Welcome to our show today. In this episode, Jill and I talk about buying from a list versus accessing a database. Pretty important stuff today, Jill. Happy Monday.
Thank you.
Before we get into it, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the landacademy.com online community. It's free.
Cool. All right. Mike asked, I recently purchased a piece of property with a tax lien on it. Is it likely that the property will be taken back by the county? Should I pay off the lien before I sell the property? What are the consequences of not paying off the lien?
Okay, this is a pro-level question, and I'm really, really glad he asked it. So a lot of times we say, hey, buy a piece of property, and don't worry about the taxes. You can sell it with the taxes associated, without the taxes. You can pay the taxes. But in urban areas, the taxes can be substantial. So a lot of times it's better just to buy the property. There's back taxes on it. You know that. You check them out. You call the treasurer. And everybody understands. With tax liens, if it has a tax lien, it's pretty far back. So you do not want to mess with this. What you want to do is call the treasurer. It's almost always the treasurer at the county. Sometimes it's the board of supervisors. And pay the lien off. So this can get expensive. So you want to really make sure that the deal economically works before you get all the way into it. But having said that, tax liens are a fantastic way to make a ton of money in real estate. That's way beyond the scope of the show. And it's Monday, and I want to try to have some fun. Just saying the word tax on Monday is painful.
That's right. Not only did Jill's eyes gloss over, but everybody listening, their eyes started to gloss over.
This is as short as I can answer it. Hey, the takeaway from it is, if you're purchasing a property, it's got a tax lien on it. You could lose it all. You just want to make sure that you address the tax lien, so that you can control the property. That's right. The takeaway. If you have a question or you want to be on the show, reach out to either one of us on landacademy.com. Today's topic, buying a list, an ownership list, property ownership list versus accessing an assessor type database. Boy, this could be one of the shortest shows ever, Jill.
You think so? I have a lot to say.
Oh, good.
Oh, that's so darn funny.
Hey, can you carry me on the show then?
My list is so long, it's not even funny.
Fantastic.
This is so important to me that I did a whole blog about this, and it was titled, Hey, buddy, want to buy a list? It's like buying a list from someone around the corner in the alley. Hey, $50, I'll give you a list of all the property owners.
Carry me.
Don't do that.
Carry me on this show.
So here I have a laundry list of things, and I will go through them happily here. Let me give it just a tiny bit of background, and then you can jump in. What we do, if you're new to listening, and what our group does is we send offers to people in the mail that own property, and we send them for substantially less than we think the retail market value of the property is. So where do you get a real accurate list of ownership? So you can either buy a list. You have two choices, buy a list or access a database. Go for it, Jill. Perfect. Thank you for the intro. All right. So here's the difference. Yeah, we go to the top best source. It's CoreLogic RealQuest is where we get our data. We don't just buy a list from somebody or some old thing. So, and here's why. Lists may be inaccurate. They may be out of date. They may be incomplete. They are often hard to decipher, time-consuming to work with before and after the fact, and always more expensive than total nationwide access. And I'll go through these things a little bit more in detail, because like I said, this is so important to me, because this comes up. This came up with a new member call, who was a person last week who was thinking about getting in our group. And this is why we're talking about this. Oh, good. So what was funny, because at the end of the call, we kind of explained a little more about what we did. And anybody who wants to, you can schedule a call with me off our website. And that's what this individual did. And at the end of the call,
they thanked me for my time. And then a few hours later, I got an email from the person saying, hey, instead of plopping down all this money and doing this stuff, can I just buy a list from you from a county now and then? And I went, oh, no. Because it's so not the way you want to do this. You know,
you want to be, to be successful at this, you need to be real comfortable with data and using data and downloading it and scrubbing it and getting it into a mail merge in the form of offers. To this day, I've been doing this since the 90s. To this day, every list I scrub, I learn something.
Mm-hmm. And then you go back into it later, by the way, when the people call you back. You need to have the data, not just a list.
Yeah.
So, and it was so funny because part of me wanted to say, sure, I'll sell you a list. Because what's funny is by the time I sell, 5 lists, this person could have bought, access the data 10 times over, and I'll go into that. So
it's just
so
a crutch.
Funny.
I mean, if you're buying a list, what you're doing you're effectively avoiding learning.
True.
This is why one of the reasons we're so successful at this is because we know exactly who's showing the signs in a database of selling their property. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of reasons and there's a lot of assessor values and it's a pretty in-depth topic, and you get nothing of that. And you get nothing. You learn nothing from buying a list.
It's true, because every time and we have our members doing that. Every time they send mailers out, they go back and go, oh, I'm going to tweak this, I'm going to tweak that, and I'm going to get better and better results and more of a response, maybe better purchase prices, whatever it is. They learn and they tweak, and you're right. And you can't do that with a list.
Right.
So you have that same list. So, and here's the thing. I'm going to go through these a little bit more in detail. I mean, lists may be inaccurate. You don't really know. You don't know what all is available to you unless you're pulling it down yourself. You need to be seeing all the parameters and all the different possibilities, of data at your fingertips as you're doing this. So they may be so inaccurate, maybe out of date. You don't really know how recently that list was accessed. Never mind that someone put a date on it doesn't mean it's right.
Properties get bought and sold all the time. So
right.
And the assessor's database gets up. The source of all of these lists is the assessor tax rolls from the county directly.
Right.
From there, do you mind if I jump in here?
No, please do.
From there, there's aggregators. They're called aggregators. And there's really approximately 4 places you can get a list right now that are in any way worthwhile. The number one way is RealQuest, CoreLogic RealQuest, and then we're heavily involved in that. We're a licensed reseller. Number 2 is Title Pro or Agent Pro 24/7. Oh, we're a licensed provider.
Providers of that.
And then there's Melissa Data, which specializes in tons of types of data. Like, man, if you wanted to buy a list of all the people who own hospitals or all the people who own ice cream stores. So and their quality of data is pretty strong. We intentionally did not include it because they don't specialize in real estate. And there's nothing wrong with that. And then there's a 4th place, Jill. I'm drawing a blank. I'll think of it the next time on the show. It's absolutely...
The county.
Oh, the county.
The county itself.
That's what it is. A lot of counties give the data away or they charge you $50. They send you a CD. Sometimes
some
if you're lucky, it's online.
Some are even
really?
more. I'm serious. That's what I was going to get to at the end.
Okay, so
yeah.
I don't want to take away your thunder, but that is the 4th place, and you almost, there's no circumstance that you want to go to the data. Ironically, you'd think going to the source is better and cheaper and all that. It's not. And Jill will get to that in a second.
No, and so here's the thing, yeah. So by having the best data, you have all the stuff at your fingerprint tips. Going to another source, even like the county, you're actually most of the time working with a specific individual, and they're pulling down the data that you've asked for. What if you didn't know what to ask for, or what if they forgot a column, they forgot something that's available to you, and you're now staring at the CD, or you've been emailed a list or something like that. Now you get to go through and decipher it. It's very time consuming, and every county is going to hand this to you in a different way.
It's in a different
They
format.
don't have all the columns lined up.
That's the problem.
It's not. So when you go to do your aid to figure out and sort through the data so you can do your mail merge, that's time consuming. And then when you go back to use it, maybe when a seller's calling you back, say you did this and you got all the way through it and you did a mail merge and you got some letters out there, and now you have a seller calling you back. Oh my goodness, you have to go back and go through all the different stuff to figure out which list and where was it from. And
it's not daunting. It's in fact, we are here to make it easy. And the tools that we provide make this as easy as it's going to get.
Right.
So with an aggregator, every single county is in the exact same format.
Yep.
And it contains the exact same data. So you only have to learn once.
You know what's funny about this, Jack, though? I'm glad you're bringing this up, because our number one source for the data for the mailers is CoreLogic RealQuest. They are consistent.
Right.
Even Title Pro 24/7 is not.
I know.
So it's a good tool that we have, that we offer to our people, but it's still not as good as the number one.
Yeah.
So, and you know what? And here's the big picture people forget. Your time is valuable. It doesn't do you any good to go to County X, pay seriously a couple $100. I know people that have done this, and they're probably listening right now. And then they waited 6 weeks to get this list. Now they're going through this list. Oh, and then they're getting a VA involved. Okay, let's get some time and some more money into that. So now we're pushing 2 months, and they haven't saved any money at all, and they haven't got a mailer out. That's the part that I go, this is crazy.
Of all the things that you can outsource and should outsource as a real estate investor, scrubbing data, collecting data and scrubbing it is absolutely one of the ones that you do not want to outsource for a million reasons, and here's why. One of the columns in the correct data set is the assessed value of the property. There's improvement assessed value, like the assessed value of the structure, let's say, if it's a house, and the land assessed value. This is crucial to understand this to be successful when you send mailers out. The way that you use that assessed value is how you price the offer you're going to send. And many times I see people who buy lists, they just buy a list that has 5 columns in it. 123 Main Street, that's the address. And John and Sally Smith, that's the owner. Well, great, I'm going to send them a letter. And the letter is going to contain, it's going to be sent to 123 Main Street. Good morning, John. Hello, John and Sally Smith. I'd like to buy your property for $1,000. This is exactly how to fail. You really, it's a little, you have to get more into this, and you need to become an expert at it if you really want to do this full time.
Right.
The real estate, ironically, again, is secondary. Understanding data and scrubbing it and going through the process and learning every single time you'll get better at it and buy property cheaper and cheaper and become more successful.
Exactly. And because your time is valuable. And my last big point is, I don't care how, but whether you buy it straight through CoreLogic, which right now nationwide access is about $275 a month. Through us, it's $250 a month and comes with so much more. No matter where you go do it, you are always spending more money in the end if you do it yourself. Even, let's just think about this. I'm talking straight through CoreLogic, $275 a month for nationwide access. If you're lucky and you're spending $50 per county, that's 5 counties. Okay, nationwide access. So that's my final.
You literally
soapbox point.
You literally have at your fingertips. This isn't a sales pitch.
No,
it's just
being trying to open everybody's minds.
You literally at your fingertips have access to 99% of the county assessors databases in the country.
Right.
I mean, that's so much power. And I'm talking about the whole database. We just chose to specialize in land. You know, the houses are in there. The hospitals are in there. Apartment buildings are in there. Skyscrapers in there. I'm talking about every single piece of property. So when you go buy a list, what do you do when you talk to the list seller? You say it's something like this. Well, I want all the properties in the 85258 area code, and I only want the ones that are in this subdivision, right? I mean, it's just, now you just completely set yourself up to fail.
By the way, I wanted to say one thing too. You're not alone if you didn't know this, because I'm here to tell you there's a certain individual in our world who happens to be from another country who doesn't even know this data. I was actually watching him. I don't know if you saw this too, Jack.
No.
But he did a Facebook Live thing a couple of weeks ago, and it was great. And he's giving out all kinds of free information. I'm like, that's so good of you. I'm glad you're doing this. And then he talked about, hey, and if you need help, one of our guys can get you a list. And I went, what the heck?
Back tax list.
You know,
That
and
show's
stuff,
coming
and I'm
up.
like,
You don't want to concentrate on back tax property ever.
so, or just any list. Don't buy a list from somebody else. Go get the data yourself.
Yeah.
That's my main thing. It's going to save you time and money
Yeah.
and energy, and you're with better results.
Yeah, if you really spend some time and learn how to use CoreLogic RealQuest properly,
Right.
you're going to put food on the table for the rest of your life for you and whoever you care about.
Bingo.
You know, that's really what it comes down to. The real estate is not so much it doesn't matter so much.
Right.
I love your Red Wings jersey, Jill.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thanks for noticing. It's a little kind of a cool rainy day here today. So
Makes
that's
me
nice to get it
kind
out.
of excited in an inappropriate way.
You're so silly. Thank you for lighting this up, actually, because I got really deep here on this. I'm sorry. I am very sorry, listeners, because this is just one of my. This is a hot topic for me.
I know you have 3 of them.
I gotta tell you, yes, there's a few hot topics for me this week. I gotta say, I kind of went in and
Jill,
said, can we please talk about these things? Because it's still coming up.
In the interest of transparency, Jill wrote all 5 of the shows this week.
I did. I'm like, I'm ticked now. We need to talk about these things.
I went into the database and I'm like, what? Somebody already did all this and it was fantastic. I'm like, oh, I don't have to do this.
Did.
Last week, I'm like, wow, this is great.
This is the Jill. Hey, this is 2017 Jill Rant Week.
Jill Rant.
Jill Rant.
Let's see if that comes available.
JillRant.com. That's going to come up on our weekly member call. Our members are so good as come there. One of them was trying to make up, what was that word? I come up with my own words and my own phrases.
Like
and so
Jillify.
Right. That's it.
Jillify it.
That's it. Someone was going to try to Wikipedia and get that up there or something. Or Urban Dictionary, some of my words.
Jillify it means
Yep.
just don't take it so serious. It's like California Californication.
Right. Which actually, that was really funny. Oh, that was so nice.
Yeah, we get a ton of emails from people, members and not members, and everybody, and sellers. And this one stuck out. We got a thank you email.
I have to say this.
Are you going to read it?
I am going to read this last little bit because.
Read the whole thing.
Should I read the whole email?
Sure. What the heck?
All
we got
right.
a few minutes here.
All right. I'm going to read the whole email because I might paraphrase.
We get these daily.
Okay. This was so nice. Jeff, I hope it's okay that I'm reading this. Hi, Jack and Jill. So I bet you get curious about the people who buy your program and even subscribe to your membership, but never actually use it. So here's a little about what's going on with me. You never really know everything about yourself until you try something really new that falls outside your comfort zone. And that was my experience with starting my land business. Despite the fact that when I first heard you guys detail the concept, a giant light bulb went off in my head and I knew it was something I really wanted to do. I didn't realize how much I had structured my life, mostly subconsciously, to avoid situations where I was not 100% sure of myself.
Listen to how smart this guy is.
This guy's brilliant, I know.
Our members are really a group of bright people.
Yep. It took me several months and a lot of personal work to push through it, but I did, and I'm so much better for it. So much the better for it. So anyway, I've got my website built. I've got my first mailer completed and ready to send out, and I've got a retired buddy of mine to take the calls when I'm at work.
Oh.
He's ready, man. I'm ready to rock and roll.
He's doing everything right.
Totally. I'll be sending out my first property for the Platinum Buyers Club this Sunday on my day off. And I look forward to posting on Landpin. It's so good.
Wow, he's covering it all.
He is, but this is so cute. But the main reason for this note is to thank the both of you, not only for the fantastic program, but for all the fantastic guidance and inspiration you both have given me with the podcast. So I know he's listening. I can't tell you the number of times you've hit the nail on the head with something I was struggling with, and most of the time it wasn't even something to do with real estate.
Oh, inspirational, Jill.
Thank you.
It's Jill's inspiration.
Making me cry, Jeff. I also
Seriously.
greatly enjoy the member calls, which I listen to on my phone as I'm walking around working. My day job is can I say what it is?
Sure.
Okay. It's a mailman / truck driver in one of my old stomping grounds. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, that's good.
I will be forever grateful for two things. One, the day you guys got bored and decided to create Land Academy.
I had no idea what we were signing up
needs to
for.
write some more stuff for us. I'm going to ask Jeff to really do something here. This is so good. And two, the day I got bored after listening to Mark Podolsky's podcast and wonder if there was any other real estate podcasts I should check out. So cool. Wow. This is my favorite coming up here. With much affection and respect, Jeff.
Wow.
And then P.S. This is my favorite part, Jeff. You had me cracking up. I'm telling my friends this because it was so darn funny. As a 5th generation Southern Californian, I have greatly enjoyed Jack's Californification process over the last year. I can't wait for him to start calling everyone dude and getting blonde highlights. I am so ready for that.
Both of those things are, well, blonde, it's gray, not blonde, but, and I am happier, I have to say.
Gray is the new blonde. Is that what that is? There we go. So, oh gosh, thank you so much. I cracked him. He's wearing shorts all the time now. It's hilarious. Not that he didn't in Arizona, but it's even more. Yes, he even owns sandals now. Oh, it's hilarious. He can't wait to get on his bike.
I'm
pedal bike.
A lot less angry.
Oh gosh,
it's still in there, but because when you're from Detroit, you're just angry. You're born that way. I think it's in the water.
I got to tell you, Jeff, that and Jack, when you sent us this, it was so cool. We shared it with some of our staff. And Jack told me to write this phrase when I send it, which is, "This is why we fight."
Yeah.
And I thought that was so cool. You want to explain? Do you need to explain that, or does everybody get it?
I think that this is a group of pretty intelligent people.
Mm-hmm.
Why we fight. That's how governments keep their soldiers. They send them stuff, about how bad the enemy is. Some of it's true, some of it's not. But
right.
In the Second World War, there's some awful stuff going on, and it's why it motivated these guys to get through it and win.
Right.
Some awful stuff was happening. So Why We Fight, I think it was even the name of it was an article for sure. I think it was the name of a paper that got circulated. I'm not sure.
So
Jeff, you are the reason that we do this.
Yeah.
But, and I can't thank you enough for speaking in full sentences and writing in full sentences and having some actual punctuation.
And sharing that with us.
That was well said, sir.
So cool.
You are why we fight. That's exactly right, Jill.
Bingo. Join us in another episode where Jack and Jill discuss how to use information.
That's me.
And inspiration. That's me. To get just about anything we want.
We use it every day to buy property for half of what it's worth and sell it immediately.
You are not alone in your real estate ambition.
Thanks for that save there.
You're very welcome. That was a long pause.
It was. I lost my place on the script, as always.
You were so excited.
My gray hair got in the way.
That's it. It fell off. That's really funny. That was good.
Information and inspiration to buy undervalued property.
We are Jack and Jill, and this was the Cash Flow from Land Show.
We are the experts at acquiring property
Of all kinds, not just land.
for half price, just so we can flip it for way more.
And really fast. Thanks for listening. You are not alone in your real estate ambition.